Hello, I'm Hannah, your English teacher, and today we will study the comparative and the superlative. We use the comparative to compare two people or objects. We use the superlative when we want to compare three or more people or objects. We usually use adjectives when we compare. Observe these general rules. When the adjective is one syllable, to form the comparative, we simply add ER. For example, my car is faster. If we mention the second object, we add than after the adjective plus ER. My car is faster than your bike. To form the superlative of an adjective with one syllable, the structure is the plus adjective plus EST at the end. We have the smallest dog here. When the adjective is two or more syllables that end in Y, to form the comparative, we remove the Y and add IER. For example, happy, happier. Pretty, that's right, prettier. And don't forget to add than if you mention the second person or object. Mary is prettier than Jane. To form the superlative, we remove the Y and add IEST. Happy, the happiest. Mary is the prettiest girl in class. For adjectives with two or more syllables, we use a different structure. To form the comparative, we use more plus adjective. This book is more interesting. He's more generous than his wife. Be careful to never say difficulter or famouser. Oof, that sounds terrible. To form the superlative, we use the most plus adjective. For example, she says the most interesting things. Who's the most generous person you know? Now let's talk about the negative form for adjectives of one or more syllables. For the comparative, we use less plus adjective. This dress is less expensive than that watch. Don't forget to add than when you mention the second object. And the superlative? We use the least plus adjective. For example, we bought the least expensive printer. There are also some irregular forms, adjectives like bad. The comparative isn't badder, no, it's worse, and the superlative is the worst. Practice the pronunciation. Worse, the worst. Good. Speaking of the adjective good, what's the comparative and the superlative? Yes, better and the best. Good job. For far, we use farther or further, and the farthest or the furthest. We can also use adverbs when we compare. For example, he speaks more slowly than you. The structure is more plus adverb. Also, observe how adjectives with two syllables such as clever, simple, and quiet can use two forms. For example, he's cleverer or more clever than his brother. It's simpler or more simple than you think. Can't we go to a quieter or more quiet bar than this? After the superlative, we normally use the preposition in to talk about places and of for periods of time. For example, he's the richest man in the world. Friday is the best day of the week. Also, we duplicate the last letter of an adjective when it ends in consonant plus vowel plus consonant. Well, with the exception of adjectives that end in W or Y. For example, Spain is bigger than Portugal. Notice, two G's. You're the slowest worker in this office. Here, only one W. We can also repeat comparative adjectives like, life is getting more and more expensive. This plant is growing taller and taller. This team is playing worse and worse. Now let's go to the street to see what people are doing.
Hi there, this is Heather for EnglishHouse.tv. Today we're going to look at some comparisons and superlatives. It will be the best class ever. Who is more talkative?
She's more talkative.
Okay, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
And who is a more talented dancer?
Josh, he's quite talented.
Good job, he's a more talented dancer. There we go, good. Rob, tell me about the weather. In the center, the city, or along the coast?
The weather is much more humid on the coast.
Oh, more humid, that's true. And what about the food? How do you find the food, the north versus the south?
I found it much tastier in the north.
Okay, a lot tastier. Well, here in the center, we have the best of both worlds, don't we? And all right, now how about the parties? What's the craziest party you've been to?
It's really hard to say. I've been to too many.
Oh, he's been to too many parties. Well, that was the greatest class ever. And aren't these the prettiest flowers? Well, see you next time at EnglishHouse.tv. Keep studying.
So remember, for one-syllable adjectives, I'm taller than you. He's the tallest boy in class. For two or more syllables that end in Y, this test is easier. This is the easiest class I have. For two or more syllables, the book is more interesting than the film. This is the most interesting book in the library. And don't forget all of those irregular forms like, this is the best class. Goodbye and keep studying.